Jbunny and welcome back to my channel. I want to welcome you guys to a new segment I'm having here on my channel, which is cooking with me. So for our first segment, I just wanted to jump right into it. We're going to do a weekday dinner meal for two, and it's going to be featuring a healthier version of eggplant parm using cheddar cheese because that's what we have today, and I think it will be pretty good. And then we're also going to have it with some sauteed chicken breast and caramelized onions on the side. So the first step, what you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to be on the broil setting, and mine's set at broil for 550 I think, and so that's warming up right now. And while that's warming up, the first thing you're going to want to do is rinse off your eggplants. Okay you guys, so just a quick rinse to make sure that there's no dirt on there from the supermarket. You never know. And then we're gonna take it back over to the cutting board. Okay, so now I have my two eggplants ready to go. A little tip, by the way, when you're picking out an eggplant at the supermarket, you wanna make sure that it's firm to the touch and not soft, because that means that it's over-ripened. So these ones are nice and firm and they look perfect. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut off this little end. Cut off the other end because I don't really like this little end. You can use it if you want, but I don't really like to use that. And then you're going to cut it in, I don't know the exact measurements, but I guess 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch slices. You can do it thinner if you like, but it really does cook pretty good in the oven, so feel free to make it up to 1/2 inch. And try and make sure that you're doing the eggplant slices evenly, because you want everything to cook evenly in the oven. Okay, so that's the first one. And I'm gonna prep my baking sheet now so that I can start laying it out. So I'm just gonna take a little extra virgin olive oil and I'm gonna put a little bit on my baking sheet. And then I have this cool little brush. You can pick this up at any supermarket, but if you don't have one, you can just use a spoon or something. And I'm just gonna spread it on the bottom so that the eggplant doesn't stick. And then I'm gonna put the eggplant slices in an even layer, coating the whole pan. They can overlap a little bit, because you're gonna cook it again after this initial step, but you definitely wanna have the surface area showing. So something like this is perfect. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the second eggplant and repeat that same process and then get it in the oven to broil. Okay you guys, so I have my 2 trays of eggplant prepped. Each one features 1 eggplant, a medium to large size. And now the next step, you want to brush a little bit of olive oil over the top of the eggplants. So yeah, you guys, you're just going to go ahead and take your oil spreading brush and brush a little bit of extra virgin olive oil over the top of the eggplant so that it cooks really nicely in the broiler in the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we're gonna pop it into the broiler. So to brush the oil on, because the eggplant soaks up everything so quickly, you're gonna wanna pour a little bit of olive oil in some kind of a dish or a bowl, and then take your brush and brush it on each of the slices one by one. See how it just sucks it in so quick? So if you were to just drizzle it on, you'd basically just have streaks along each of them instead of being evenly spread like this. And make sure you just do a little bit, guys. It's not too much. You don't want it to be so oily and heavy. This brush is really clutch. Honestly, you won't be able to do it with a spoon as good as this. So I suggest picking one up. Okay, you guys, and then the last step before we go in the broiler, you're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on the eggplant to give it seasoning. See, we have the oven on broil at 550. So I'm gonna put one right there on the left. One on the right. Close the oven. And it should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Hey you guys, so it's been about 2 minutes and I'm just checking on it. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit more brown on the top of all of them, and then after that I am gonna flip it over and do the other side. I'm back and it's been about 3 to 4 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up the oven. to turn them over. And flip them over so that they can get broiled on the other side. Remember, you're not cooking them all the way like this. You're just giving them a broil on each side so that they have some good texture and get started cooking for the next step. Okay, so now that I flipped all the pieces of eggplant over, I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in the oven for another 3 to 4 minutes and let that broil up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and build the eggplant in the baking dish before we put it back in the oven to bake. Okay guys, so the next step, we wanna get our ingredients ready for the layering step of the eggplant parm. And I'm going to be putting just some palmy tomatoes that I got at the supermarket. They're chopped tomatoes and I really like these the best because they're super fresh. And we're also gonna put some fresh garlic in. It does give it that nice fresh flavor. So what I'm doing now is just chopping up the onion while the eggplant is in the oven. This is the onions that I'm gonna use with the chicken later. So you can always use this time to prep the other steps, which is what I'm doing now. Okay, so be really careful. These are hot, but they're looking perfect. This is exactly how they should be looking. Slightly golden brown. And so the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna build our eggplant. So first things first, take your oven, turn it off broil mode and put it on bake at 375. If your oven runs a little bit colder, you can increase that temperature. If your oven runs hot, then maybe do 350. Okay, so for the eggplant, I told you guys before that I'm gonna be using the palmy chopped tomatoes. And to open this, I just take a knife to lift up these flaps on the side. And then I pop it up like this. And then I take my knife, and be careful when you do this, guys, and I just slice off the top. Okay, so first things first, you have your baking dish right here. This is the size that I'm using, and I'm using the glass one, and you're gonna take a little bit of the tomatoes and spread it on the bottom of the pan. Then I'm gonna do my first layer of eggplant. And I'm just gonna lay it down evenly, one slice at a time. Okay, so the next step after you have your first layer of eggplant down over the sauce, you're gonna put a little bit more sauce. Remember guys, this is the healthy version, so there's no breading. If you're thinking, oh, the breading is missing, that's why. So just put a little bit of sauce on each one. Then I'm gonna take my cheese. You can literally use any cheese that you want. I've done it with Munster cheese. You can do it with mozzarella cheese, but today I'm using mild cheddar. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of that. Then I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh chopped garlic that I chopped up. I'm also gonna take a little bit of garlic powder. Very little though, not too much. You don't want it to be too garlicky. Okay, so we're ready for our next layer. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more eggplant on top. Some more sauce. And it's not exact, so don't worry if you put too much or too little on one layer, it's okay because it's all gonna bake together. I'm gonna put a little bit more chopped garlic. Some cheese. And then you're gonna go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of your layers. On the top layer, before I put the cheese, I am gonna put just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to season the sauce. And I'm also gonna put a little bit of oregano. A little bit more garlic powder. Very light on the dusting of garlic powder though. And then we're gonna put our top layer of cheese and pop it in the oven at bake at 350. And I'm gonna let it bake for 30 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and take our lovely finished product and we're gonna put it in the oven, bake at 350 for 30 minutes. So I'll check back with you guys when that's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and when you bake it, don't put it on the top rack, you put it on the middle rack so that it bakes evenly. So go ahead and close that up. I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes so that it's easy. And set it and forget it. Okay you guys, so while the eggplant's in the oven, you're gonna go ahead and start your onions because it's important when you're doing the onions to do it low and slow so that they don't burn and they stay nice and soft and yummy. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my olive oil again and just put a little bit on the pan. I already have my stove turned on high, but I think I'm actually gonna turn it down to medium because it's already pretty hot. And then you're just gonna go ahead and take your onions and drop them right in. And I'm just gonna take a little bit more salt to season, not too much, and a little bit of the black pepper. And I'm gonna turn it down to medium heat. I have mine at 3.5 out of 10, so low medium. And you're just gonna watch it and stir it. And once they start cooking for a couple of minutes, about 3 to 4 minutes, I would turn it down more lower after that to about 2 and let them just cook nice and low and slow until you see the onions turn from white to translucent or clear. And then I'm gonna take the onions once they're clear and put them on the side because I don't want them to overcook. So yeah, the onions will just take, like I said, like 3-4 minutes on medium heat, and then you're gonna turn it down to low for like another 10 minutes and they're done. And you're gonna set them on the side. And this is gonna go with our chicken at the end. Okay, so my onions have been cooking for about 6 to 10 minutes, and as you can see, they're nice and translucent and not burnt at all because I've been cooking them on low. So what I'm gonna do now is, so that the onions don't burn, I'm gonna go ahead and take them out and put them in this side dish. And when we're ready to serve dinner, we'll reheat them quickly in the pan with the chicken and then serve it up just like that. Okay, so we'll use those to serve the chicken when we're ready. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cook the chicken. And I'm gonna use the same pan because it already has the little bit of the onion flavor in it. I'm gonna put a little bit more olive oil in, same as we did before. And right here I have my chicken. I'm doing 2 portions of 6 ounces. I actually bought a little digital scale at the supermarket the other day, so it really helped me portion my chicken out nicely, and I suggest you guys pick one up if you wanna also be on a specific kind of diet because there's no way to eyeball 6 ounces of chicken. I definitely didn't know that like since 6 ounces of chicken was this little. So I'm just gonna turn my pan to medium heat, unwrap my chicken. So now I'm gonna just lightly season the chicken with salt and pepper. It's important to season every element of the dish because then everything has flavor. And remember that chicken you don't wanna really touch with your bare hands unless you're constantly washing them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it seasoned side down in the pan. Turn your pan down if it looks like it's getting too hot. You don't want it to be too smoky. And I'm gonna let this cook for, I'm gonna have to watch it, but I think it's gonna be about 5 minutes on each side to saute it at first. And then after that, I'm gonna turn the heat down to low so that it can cook all the way through and that we can eat some nice moist chicken. chicken that's cooked all the way through. So it's been a couple of minutes, and I'm just going to flip the chicken over. And it should look like this when you do the first turn. Nice and crisp, but not burnt. Okay, so the timer just went off. It's been 30 minutes. And it's looking good. Whoa, looks perfect, guys. And you can see over here on the side, you know that it's really been cooking because all the tomatoes are boiling down at the bottom. So just know that it is super hot, so make sure you're really careful when you take it out of the oven. And we made this big platter because you can actually put this in the fridge after you finish making it and eat it for the next 1 to 3 days. We have our chicken here. I re-added the onions into the pan at the end just to heat them up, not to cook them, so that they're nice and hot. And our chicken is here, all nice and golden brown. It looks really nice. And we're gonna serve it up. So each person is gonna get 6 ounces of chicken. Oh, it's looking good, you guys. I can't wait to try some. And then I'm gonna spoon some onions over the top. Just put as many onions as you like. I know some people like more onions and some people like just a little bit. Okay, so now for the eggplant. This is a really big platter, guys. Like I said, you're gonna keep this in the fridge for a couple days, but each serving, I think I'm gonna cut a slice just like this. And then my second slice. So this pan's about 6 portions. And you're just gonna take your spatula like that, and be careful because it's really hot and it could be messy. And you're gonna take it and move it right to your platter. Whoa, that looks fire! Fuego. You know what? I like a little extra cheese on top. Boom. Okay, you guys, it's time to eat. Join me back in a second so we can try it together and I can let you guys know how it tastes. I can't wait. Okay, you guys, I'm starving and it's finally time to eat. I'm gonna be enjoying my dinner with this Minute Maid pink lemonade, which is so fire. I highly suggest you go pick this up at the supermarket. Honestly, it's so bomb and it's 0 sugar, so I love it. So good. Bomb, you guys. Bomb. Okay, let me try some of the chicken. I'm gonna put a little hot sauce on. Perfectly cooked. Everything's amazing. Cheers, guys.